What's up BJJ fans, and of course the BJJ stands for Blind Judo Journey. I went to the IBSA German Grand Prix in Heidelberg. This is my third competition on the international stage, my third Grand Prix. The first one we went to Azerbaijan, we got smashed by the Paralympic champion. Second one we went to Japan, Tokyo, and I had 4 fights. I won 2 of them, so coming away with 50% win rate. This one, going into it, I felt confident. I made weight better. Much better actually. I also was fitter. I was just ready to fight. This day was a really long day. I had 5 fights, so this is going to be quite a long video. There's going to be some updates at the end of the video about the channel and my judo going forwards. So I didn't get a bye at this competition, which is good and bad, but it meant that I fought a Mongolian first. Going into this, I was actually really confident, mainly because in every other competition I fought a Paralympic medalist in the first round, whereas here, this guy, I don't think he's won anything particularly amazing, so I was going, hopefully I'm actually going to be fairly matched for this guy. Let's take a look at that fight.
J2, so J1 for the blind and almost completely blind, and J2 for the visual impaired athletes with a little bit more sight. And because of that, there's a lot of people actually from the 66 and 81 that came to the under 73 kilogram category. So they are really all facing each other now. And a good example is, for example, Repêchage coming from the 60 even, Jujiro Seto coming from the 66. We have Sergio Ibanez Banon coming from the 66. So it's really a tough category here. So on the mat now we have Dava Dagwa Engtuya of Mongolia, and he is facing Miles Solomon of Great Britain. And now Solomon is trying to work in Newaza. Solomon with a nice Sutmi attack. Now again working on Newaza. It's always difficult to have the opening contest of the day because you still have to deal with some nerves. You never know how you're gonna compete until you're on the mat. And especially if you also don't know your opponent. You just don't want to make any big mistakes in the opening seconds. You also don't want to wait too long for an attack to get a penalty. Nice left-sided Seonage coming from Solomon. He's in with some good attacks, but I think he might be in trouble now because Engtuya is trying to strangle his opponent here. It looked like it was under the chin of Solomon, so he could have been in trouble there. Did a good job. And here is the first Shido now for Engtuya. First penalty on the board for being too passive. So you could see that almost all the attacks came from Solomon. Another left-sided Seonage, this time really well done. So nice combination, first working on the feet and then coming in with a left drop Seonage. Solomon scoring a Wazari score here. So this time Engtuya actually came on with a really good attempt, but taken over by Solomon. So really well performance by him. They are all checking the care system from the side, and in this case they decided that it was not a Wazari score, so there's still only the Wazari on the board. So there's always a good chance to watch back the techniques, sometimes from multiple angles, to really make sure that they take the right decision. So it's not all on the referee in the middle of the mat, so that's a really good thing. And it's been around for years now, but it's really helping the referees to come to a good decision. So Engtuya trying to work his way on the ground. And trying to free his foot to hold down Solomon. Still going on. So another technique coming from Engtuya, but it was not the strongest. He collapsed on the way down, I think. So no scores, and it's another few seconds off the clock for Solomon. So another attack coming from Engtuya. He just lacks a bit of strength, I guess, against Solomon. And it's a last attempt coming from Engtuya, but he's not able to throw over his opponent. It's really well done by Miles Solomon of Great Britain, and he will face Recep Sivci in the next round. And that's going to be a tough one.
So yeah, coming away with the win, was really happy with that. Took it to full time, got the left hip on Sianagi from Awazari. After that, he kind of realised nothing he was doing was really affecting me. I was blocking every attack he made. He kind of started switching, started going for some Makikomis. I countered one of them, didn't end up getting scored, but had he kept doing that, I would keep countering them. I really enjoy the process of being Awazari up when you're like 30 seconds to go. If you can hear in the background, my coach Chris Barry just goes, right, from now on, only Tomonagi, because I have no Shidos. I'm able to just waste the time, go and pull him into the guard, and just hold him there, make the clock count down. My opponent's biggest mistake in this match actually was at one point he ends up in my half guard and he just wastes about 30-40 seconds on the ground, just not getting anywhere. And for me personally, I can hold half guard for days. It's a position I'm really confident from. So yeah, he wasted a huge amount of time there, which was very poor contest management on his part. But eventually managing to take the win, really proud of myself. This puts me in my second fight. This is against a Turkish guy. This is someone who moved up from, I think, 60 kilos, but he is an absolute brick. He is about 5'2", but in both directions. He is hench. The thing about visually impaired judo, especially at 73s, you get people of all different sizes because some people moved up, some people moved down. This is because of the lack of 66 kilo category or 81 kilo category, so you've got some very different body sizes. He did very well at the lower weight category, so coming into this, I was hopeful, and my coaches were hopeful, but you know, it could go either way. The main thing I was thinking about in this is that I'm a bit taller than him. My Tomonagi's hopefully going to go because I can use my levers, get under him and flip him over. Let's take a look at how this fight went.
The winner on match 1 in the blue judo gear representing Kazakhstan, Murat Malinov. Competing on mat 1 in the men's J1 under 60 kilos category in the white judo gi representing Uruguay, Henry Borges.
Yeah, absolutely super proud of how this fight went. I think this is a great example of, in the first exchange, I went for the Tomonagi, didn't actually work, but it was close, and I went in my head, and my coach also went, that's going to happen. If you do that 3 or 4 times, it will score. And we were very much right, because on my second or third attempt doing it, yeah, I managed to score. What actually happened here, he tried to spin out, but ended up spinning on his head, meaning that it was like it's a bridge, which means it's ippon. For me, that's to avoid people trying to do head spins and damaging their necks and stuff, so that's more of a safety rule, but it still counts as ippon for myself. And my biggest failing in this particular fight, my biggest takeaway was I was doing an Osoto that wasn't amazing. I wasn't on balance when I did it. So my coach did say, Miles, when you do that Osoto, set it up. Which one I did, and I learned, and I figured out what I was doing, and then we ended up progressing and not making that mistake again, which is always important. Especially at my level, making mistakes is okay, but not learning from those mistakes isn't. Because I'm really doing all of these competitions for pure development. I'm just trying to improve. This brought me on to my third fight, which definitely going to be my hardest fight. This is against a guy who is seeded. He's taken some medals at some Grand Prix recently. He's very, very good. This match particularly meant a lot to me because this is the guy I would have fought had I not passed out in Azerbaijan. So I kind of want the redemption. We'll see how it goes. Let's take a look at how this fight against the Ukrainian goes.
Mastery in the men's J2 under 73 kilo category. In the white judo gi representing Ukraine.
So on the mat now is in white judo gi Rufat Mahomedov of Ukraine, and in blue, I think one of the surprises of today, Miles Solomon of Great Britain. He's doing really well, beating both of his opponents, Tuya and Shivchi, today, and they are not bad opponents at all. So he will finish in the top 8 today, which is already a really good result for him. But obviously he wants more, and he will try to beat Mahomedov here. Here a right-sided Komakikomi from Mahomedov, scoring a first Wazari on the board. So Mahomedov is always quite wild in his first few minutes. He keeps piling on the attacks, and that's going to be really hard for Solomon because there are good attacks as well. So trying that Koichi Makikomi again. Nice Ouchigari coming from Solomon, but almost taken over after with a hip throw of Mahomedov. Just able to block that, and now it's Solomon trying to work in Newaza. So I know in previous competitions Mahomedov found himself struggling with the rules sometimes, trying breaking the grip quite quickly and trying to fight with one hand at some point. So he is penalized a lot in the past, but he seems to have that under control in this contest. So left-sided technique coming from Solomon, but not breaking any balance of Mahomedov here. But he is putting Mahomedov on his first Judo. So actually the first minute now is, let's say, is gone, and Mahomedov looks a little bit more calmed here. Another good technique coming from him, but not able to score. But he is, I think, bringing some trouble to Solomon. Yeah, he's strangling Solomon. So a nip-on score for Mahomedov, and he is going to go through to the semi-finals here today.
Yeah, so I was going into this fight expecting to be a standard right-hander going for Uchimata. And then he comes out left-handed, starts whipping grips off, trying to go for big over-the-top grips, diving in for Kuchimakikomis, which was what he scored in the first second exchange. Was a little bit overwhelmed, I think, for me. This is definitely part of my contest management and me learning to be an international athlete. Sometimes they do weird stuff and it's new, and you end up not knowing how to handle that or being a bit shocked by it. That was definitely my biggest takeaway. I would love to fight this guy again because I think I could definitely do a lot better this next time, as you do every time you fight someone new. But he was definitely better than me in this fight. So yeah, taking that win. He did manage to get me on the ground. I did tap. I'm not going to say I'm proud that I managed to tap, but I got up under my own steam. I did not pass out or anything like that. So we have improved from our previous mistake we made. But this puts me going into the repêchage now. I now have to fight the Portuguese, who is the guy I beat in Tokyo. It was a long fight in Tokyo. It was about 5-ish minutes. So I went to golden score. We both had a bit of a difficult time. He couldn't throw me, I couldn't throw him. Eventually I threw him with Tomanagi. Going into this match, we want the Tomanagi, but we're going to hunt for anything we can hit. Let's take a look.
So coming on to the mat now is Ruben Gonçalves of Portugal, and he will be facing Miles Solomon of Great Britain. And I think Solomon for me is the surprise of today, let's say. And he fought really well in all of his 3 matches, just lost the one, and he finds himself here in this repêchage contest. And Gonçalves, he lost his first contest against Magomedov, so that's always a rough start, but he has another shot here. So a first Sutami attempt coming from Solomon. So it's the first Judo on the board here for Gonçalves. Solomon looking just a bit more active in this contest.
Match 1, golden score.
Now a right-sided Seonage coming from Gonçalves. The closer the contests get, because before, let's say 5 to 10 years ago, you could see that there were a lot of contests finished off by a Nippon quite soon, because the difference in level could be quite big in the opening rounds, but that's not the case here. So all the athletes are trained. They don't come to a competition for fun. They all want to win. And you can see that the level here is really high, and that ends up in a lot of contests being finished off with a small score or even in the golden score. So the referee is making sure that they have the right kumikata. So in many cases, if both athletes are happy and they can have a left against right grip or left against left, doesn't really matter. If they're both quite comfortable with it, the referee will call a hajime. But if they're not, sometimes they will keep pushing to get the same lapel on the same height, for example, on the same side. And then the referee will pick one of them, and he will start with the white judogi, and they can have their first pick. And then with the next cause of action, it will be the other way around. So that's just making sure that it's really fair and equal for both of these athletes. That was really nicely done. Left-sided Seonage coming from Solomon, scoring a Wazari score here. So great technique coming from him. Now this time a right-sided Makikomi attempt. Oh, really beautifully done with Solomon. Again, a beautiful technique. Taking Gonçalves to the back and scoring a huge hip on here. And he's still in the race to pick up a bronze medal.
The winner on match 3 in the blue judo gi representing Great Britain, Miles Solomon.
Yes, really happy with this fight. I think this is probably my best fight I've had on the international circuit. Managing to score with the Wazaru on the Sianagi, thing that I scored with earlier against the Mongolian, a technique I'm really confident in. Then in the next exchange, as soon as he's Wazaru down, he starts panicking, starts knowing he's got to start doing something weird. When you're kind of 0-0, you find that you just keep doing your judo, you keep doing it, eventually it'll work. As soon as you go a Wazaru down, you need to make something happen. Because now I'm sitting back into my, okay, I know he can't throw me, I can throw him. Whereas he needs to make something happen, otherwise he's going to lose very soon. Which is why he starts switching to the Makikomi, at which point I think this is a perfect example, in my opinion, of kill the attack, counter it. You know, he goes to the Makikomi, I step around it, and I kind of have that realization of, oh, and then I pick him up and dump him on his back. So yeah, really proud of that. I think my favourite thing about this is you can see my opponent getting frustrated. He knows that what he's chucking at me just isn't working, it's not happening, nothing's taking me off balance or anything like that. Makes me really proud because that shows that my judo actually is worthwhile and is worth being at this level. I mean, I think I've managed to prove that already today, but having someone get so frustrated with you is quite satisfying, to be honest. The interesting thing about the way that the draws work in these competitions is that the Portuguese here, he has only had one fight, which he lost. For me to get to this point, I've had 3 fights, 2 of which I've won. So this is just the luck of the draw. He ended up getting a better draw than me. Maybe, maybe not, depends how you look at it. But he's definitely fresher than I am, I would say. Anyway, this moves us into the Repêchage final, where I'm fighting the Korean. The Korean beat me in Tokyo. He beat me on Shidos due to passivity. I've been raring to go for this fight again. I'm really excited. Let's just take a look at it.
Is Kim Dong-un of Republic of Korea, and he is facing Miles Solomon of Great Britain. So I enjoyed watching Solomon a lot today, and he keeps surprising me, and let's see what he can do against Kim, who is also a really good athlete. So now he's working on the arm. So Solomon starting off with a Tumunage and then taking over on the ground. Now he gets some more time from the referee. This is what I spoke about before. As long as there is enough progress, which is not the case now anymore, but you can take the time as an athlete. You can really take your time to build on each step of the technique. So Solomon is looking strong here in this contest, and Kim is taking a little bit more time to get to good technique. Really a right against right. That was a good attempt coming from Kim. Just underneath. And now in the other way direction, so he can go both right and left. And that's such a big benefit as an athlete if you can score either on the left side or right side. And it gives the first Judo to Solomon. So it's another sacrifice technique coming from Solomon, just not being very effective, but it again can give him some time to work in Newaza. Right side of Makikomi coming from Solomon, but I think Kim is doing a really well job in keeping moving around. So with that right arm on the lapel, he's disturbing his opponent and really pushing the pace there. And you see the coach on the side shouting exactly those things to, I think, to his athlete.
Competing on mat 2.
Left-sided low seonage coming from Kim. So Solomon is good in blocking those, but he needs a little bit extra to come up with his own techniques.
And in the blue judo gi, representing Turkey, Gökay Yavuz.
So here is a good position for Solomon. He needs to try to stretch the body. Just wasn't enough progress for the referee. Really nicely done. Right side at O Uchigari. And that was actually really close to a score there. Sure, they're checking that from the side. If not enough of the body of Kim landed on the side in a 90-degree angle. I think that could be the case here. So they checked it, and apparently it was just not enough for a Wazari score. But really nicely done. And they are gonna check it, and I'm not surprised at all. Apparently they decided that it's no score. But Solomon knows that he must have been really close here. And this time a really nice right-sided Morote Seonage, and it gives the first score to Kim Dong-hoon actually. So Solomon being so close. But it's Kim that has a score on the board now, and it's only 1 minute and 2 seconds left on the board. So it's the last minute of the contest. Things are looking good for Kim Dong-hoon to continue his route to the bronze medal here. Nice right side at Osotogari. And it's another attempt coming from Solomon. He's trying everything to get a score on the board, but no success yet for him yet. Ooh, that was looking quite dangerous there for Kim. So a really good attempt from Solomon. So things are really not over. It's only 22 seconds left. So Solomon trying to push it here, but he's not giving himself a good position here. 11 seconds left on the clock. And another left Seonage attempt from Kim. And now it's only 6 seconds left. So there's just a chance of one good attack for Solomon. But it's going to be hard against Kim because he's also going to try to attack. So that's it. Good win for Kim Dong-hoon.
Such a frustrating fight. Really frustrating. Obviously nearly scoring that Wazari with the Ochigari. That was kind of the game plan the whole day, was to do that. Didn't work, sadly, but I'm definitely... This fight lasted longer. I think that some of the judo I did was better. I think the most frustrating bit of this for me is me locking up my triangle on the ground, but then not managing to finish it. that's definitely something I'm going to go away and look at, because once you've got your legs locked up, you should be able to finish that. Hopefully I'll be making a tutorial on that at some point, because for me, making tutorials often helps me understand things better. So I'll hopefully be able to improve from it. Also, I tend to finish my triangle a little bit differently to how other people do, which is why it's a bit difficult when your coach is telling you things to do, and that's not necessarily what would be in your game plan or in your muscle memory. So I did have a little bit of a, what, he's saying this thing, oh no, I should be doing something else, which is fair, but that's just a learning point to take away. Yeah, he managed to score with the Wazari from the Martinagi. It's really frustrating, but it was a score, and then he ends up winning from it. You can see me now in the position where I'm Wazari down near the end, and I'm just trying to do weird stuff, especially when I'm on the ground. He's trying to hold me down, like literally just hold me on the ground so the counter keeps going, and I'm just trying to run away because I want the clock to pause so I can reset to standing. And then near the end, I think there are some things in here that might be things you see next time I fight him. I won't say too much about what those things are, but I think that there are other things I can add to my game for this particular fight that I will be able to maybe get some scores on him with. And yeah, finally, in the final exchange, my coach just goes, Mars, big Soto, just do something. And then, yeah, sadly it didn't work, knocking me out of the tournament. With all of these, that you keep fighting till you've lost twice for the most part. That's not always true, but yeah, I got 7th again. I was really happy with this. Not the actual result, getting beaten by the Korean again, but 7th again, two consecutive placings in Grand Prix at this point when the Paralympics are just around the corner is amazing when you think about it. These guys have been doing judo way longer than me. I've been doing judo just over 5 years. These guys have probably been doing it their whole lives, and managing to burst onto the scene. I had lots of really, really nice things said to me by other athletes and other coaches. The Georgian team particularly came and spoke to me, and they said, I'm one to watch. It's very unusual for someone to sort of burst onto the scene at this point, and managing to win and beat some good people. So I was really, really proud of myself for that. I realised that when I was in Tokyo, I kind of made it sound like 7th wasn't that good. It's quite hard to explain why 7th is so good. So anything less than 7th, you don't get any ranking points, whereas I got ranking points because I got 7th. But yeah, 7th is a place, whereas everything below that isn't. Managing to take 7th when you go, okay, there's only 6 people better than me in that category, and that's like, you know, it's so incredible when you think about who's turning up to these, and that I'm actually in that group of people. So really, really proud, and especially because I have done it twice now, proving a little bit of consistency. I've managed to get over that imposter syndrome. I think that, I'm not going to say some of my wins are a fluke, but I think that nothing I did on this day was a fluke. I think everything was my style of judo that I did well. Really, really proud of myself, and especially beating the Portuguese now twice, proving that I am consistent and able to do it with a variety of throws. So coming away with another 7th, so proud, to be fair, really, really proud. Important things about this, I am now 18th in the world. Really happy with myself for that, top 20, but bursting into that. When you look at the ranking tables, I'm way lower down than anyone else who is placing, which really gives me confidence that I'm hopefully going to be able to shoot up those rankings and get more scores and more points, especially maybe going into the next cycle. So what's next for Blind Judo Journey? One of the reasons that I ended up, this video is going up so far behind when it actually happened, is first, because I got really ill when I came back from Germany, putting yourself through like the amount of physical stress that you do doing judo, and like training and making weight and doing all that, and then, you know, flying and lack of sleep, etc. You just come back, and you know, everyone's been on holiday before and come back and being really ill. It's that kind of thing. I was very ill, just so editing videos. This video is really long. Editing the footage was really hard and took me forever. And also, since I got back from Germany, I've actually been to Germany again. I went to Berlin, Potsdam, to do a training camp, my first international training camp with the rest of the Paralympic team. The reason this is so cool is, I don't know if I mentioned this on my channel, but I am officially on the GB squad. I actually have my British flags that I stitch onto my kits to prove I'm actually on the visually impaired GB squad. So proud of that. Actually been given my flags is amazing. I went away with the Paralympic team for a week. It was great. I tried to film a video about it, and it ended up being really, really dull. So I might make a short of a rundown of it or something like that, just to tell you what it was about. But yeah, it wasn't an interesting video. Going forward, we've got some competitions coming up. I'm doing a comp in Wickham in next week, and there's also some training days, and most importantly, we have the Turkish Grand Prix coming up on the 1st of April. That's in 3 weeks from when I'm filming this. So we're now fully on, making weight for that, training for it, preparing, hopefully going to go and do as well as I've done and better than in these previous 2 Grand Prix. So if you want to follow me on my blind judo journey into international visually impaired judo, please make sure to like, comment, share and subscribe. Soramade.